I can go policy by policy with you. ICE, I agree that, because I'm sure this is a topic that you talk about a lot, which is immigration. I am pro border security. I want people to come to this country legally. However, I don't want people that have been in this country for decades, that pay taxes, that have families here, sent to an El Salvador prison. That's happened. Not everybody was nonviolent, but the majority of those people, I think it was over 60% of the people that they sent to an El Salvador prison, were nonviolent criminals. I don't want people murdered in the streets. What happened in Minneapolis is a travesty. What happened to Renee Good and Alex Preddy is repugnant. It's terrible. And then you had Kristi Noem, who is no longer there now, who called them domestic terrorists hours after these shootings without a full investigation. And by the way, the evidence proves it. That's why they took that Bovino asshole out of Minneapolis and they, took out 2,000 or 3,000 troops. Listen, violent criminals, 90% of the country, Democrats and Republicans agree. If you're a violent criminal and you're undocumented, deported. Absolutely, I'm on board with that. But I have a serious problem with a party that says, come on into our country. Just do it the right way. Do it legally. We don't care what the color of your skin is. Which is the party that has made it more difficult for people to become legal citizens? In some cases, it takes 10 or 15 years for people to be naturalized. The Democrat Party has tried to come up with a way to make it easier for people to get a pathway to citizenship. And meanwhile, Republicans make it more difficult. Let's make it easier for people. I want them to be vetted, but let's make it a little bit easier for people to become citizens, and let's give them some more incentives. And if you happen to be undocumented and you're non-violent criminal, which I think is important, then you have to pay a penalty, but let's come up with something that works for the American people. I don't think separating families and murdering people on the streets is good policy, and that's what the Trump administration has done.
I would actually just say we don't need immigration really at all. I think we have enough human resource and capital here in the West, in America, that we don't actually need the replacement of the indigenous people. And that's kind of a war crime in my view. This is a known strategy. You can read Kelly Greenhill's book. She's she writes for Cornell University, I think, Weapons of Mass Migration. So this is a known geopolitical strategy technique to change the people groups. Specifically with Europe, you have the Kalergi plan. I read Kudnov-Kalergi. It's real. His book, Practical Idealism, discusses this explicitly. That plan was adopted by the Royal Society to change the demographics of the European Union. And then we have the same situation like in America, where you have the flooding of the country with all kinds of third world people to change the demographics, not just for political reasons, but I think ultimately for long-term socialist international reasons.
So we can give a history lesson on immigration and we can talk about the past. But what I'm talking about right now is the future and where this country is at right now. Will you agree with me that the shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy were horrible? They weren't handled properly. And we had a woman in Chicago who was shot 5 times, almost died. And everybody in ICE, including Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, everybody based on text messages, were praising this guy for shooting this woman 5 times. They claimed that Miss Martinez was impeding an investigation. And then all of a sudden, when the body camera footage came out, it said the total opposite, and they retracted the charges. Did anybody apologize? No. Are those officers still out there? Yes. That's wrong. Can we agree that that's wrong?
I mean, and I don't doubt that in some of these situations you have absolutely horrible mistakes like that. I would probably agree with that. And I don't know the specifics of those cases because I'm more focused on the bigger geopolitical.
But you're saying,
oh, well, we don't need a history lesson. I actually do need a history lesson, because if what I'm talking about is true, then there's a longer, broader strategy.
So you don't want immigrants in here at all?
We don't need any more. No.
So you want to just close the borders for everybody?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, obviously I disagree with you on that.
Okay, but that's fine. But the reason that I'm saying that is because there is a real long-term socialist strategy to change the demographics of the entire West, and these documents point to that. This goes all the way.
What does it matter to you where someone comes from? What does it matter if
people's heritage and tradition makes sense? All the people who come here.
How does that affect
all the people that come here certainly believe that. So
what does it matter where somebody was from, so long as, or the color of their skin?
For example,
so long as if they have
Sunni Islamic beliefs, it matters quite a bit.
Okay, but if they're not breaking the law and they're decent people and they're family people, why does it affect?
It's way more complex than that, because, for example, in Islam, they have the idea and the belief that you pretend to be amenable and affable to the society that you're going into, and then over time, when you gain power, then you overthrow them. That's in the Quran.
Okay, well,
so that's one example.
Do you have friends that are Islam descent?
That are Muslim?
Yeah. You have any friends?
Do I have any friends? No.
Yeah.
No, Brian.
No, that's not what I know you have friends.
I mean,
you know
I've
didn't mean it like
interacted
that.
with all of the top
Okay,
Muslims for 8
but
years.
do you interaction is one thing, but like do you spend time with people of Muslim faith?
Not
Ever?
really. No.
Okay, so I have, and I didn't say you didn't have friends. I was that I misspoke.
That was a joke.
That's fine. But I can tell you that I know a lot of people that are Muslim that live in this country, maybe a couple dozen, and they're good people. They're nice people. They're family people. Not every Muslim wants harm on America. Not every Muslim is a terrorist, but there are people on the right that do. Laura Loomer thinks that all Muslims should be deported. She is despicable. She is a racist. Now, I disagree with you on the fact that you don't want any immigrants in this country at all. But I will say this. Every single time Donald Trump says, make America great again, it always meant to me, make America white again. That's what I believe many in his base believe.
Well, wouldn't that be racist?
Yes. Yes.
But you're saying racism is wrong.
Absolutely, it's wrong. And I'm saying his slogan, and a lot of people that abide by his slogan, want America to be white. And I don't know if
but
that's
you just said what's wrong with the people coming here having.
I don't see anything wrong with people from.
What's wrong with them having their heritage and their tradition? Right.
Well, it depends specifically what you're talking about. But if they're not breaking the law, then let them believe in what they believe.
What's wrong with people who are white having their heritage and their tradition if they're not breaking the law?
Okay. I don't have a problem with that either.
Okay.
But what you're saying to me is you don't want any immigrants in this country.
Sure.
Okay.
But I mean,
I think that's wrong.
Does Japan have to take in third world people?
First of all,
do they have to?
That's a different country. I'm talking about the United States. What makes America?
Is this a universal principle?
No. I believe the United States.
So it's not universal.
The United States of America was founded.
So it's particular just to America.
Well, we live in the United States, so I'm going to speak on what I want here in the country.
So
it
only applies to people in America that are white. It doesn't apply to other countries. So it's relative.
In a perfect world,
it's arbitrary.
In a perfect world.
Is it arbitrary?
I'm answering you. In a perfect world, I would love the entire world to operate in a state of live where you want to live, have the religion that you want, and I don't want people to be judged based on religion or sin color.
So Japan should take third world
in a
migrants.
Perfect world.
Should they?
In a perfect world, I want every
you
government.
You want to talk about this world, so should they in this world?
Yeah, I think everybody
every country should take in immigrants.
I think
at untold amounts, infinity.
As long as you're vetted properly. Okay.
They must take in infinity, brother.
Well, I mean, listen, I come from a different cloth, I guess, and in my personal opinion, I don't care what you look like. I don't care what the color of your skin is.
Unless you're white in
I don't
America.
Care. No, you're not letting me finish. No, it has nothing to do with that.
So it's a double standard.
No, it's not a double standard. You're not hearing me out.
Okay.
I don't care where you're from. You could be white. You could be black. I don't care. You could be as 100% white like me. I want everyone to have the same opportunities as long as you're vetted properly. Yes, I do want border security. I want people to be vetted. But the fundamental difference here is I don't care where you're from as long as you don't have bad intentions.
That's great that you don't care about that, but that wasn't the question. The question was about the ethics of an entire country taking in massive amounts of other third world migrants. That was the question.
First of all, it's dependent upon, are they coming in the right way? It's dependent upon, are they properly vetted? It's dependent upon where are they going to go? Are they going to be able to provide something to the United States, tools and skills that they have? That's part of the vetting process. So as long as you're doing that properly and we don't have bad people, which I don't want. I don't want bad people coming here. I don't want people that want to do harm to America. I don't want rapists or child molesters or, quite frankly, people that you support like Donald Trump. I don't want people like that in this country. And if they're properly, I'm being serious though. I know it's funny, but I'm being serious. I don't want people like Donald Trump here, orange people like Donald Trump, who are 34-count felon liable sexual abusers, people that you support like Donald Trump, who's named thousands of times in the Epstein files. I don't want people like that in this country. I don't care what the color of their skin is like you. I don't care what country they're from. I don't want people in this country like Donald Trump. And I can give you multiple reasons why. You voted for a 34-count felon. You voted for a liable sexual abuser. Why are you so worried about people from other countries coming here when the guy who you support, the president of the United States,
is like a fallacy machine?
No, it's not a fallacy machine. It's logic.
You don't actually know what fallacies are because you demonstrated that earlier.
Okay,
you didn't know what appeal to masses was.
I know what someone who is a threat to this country looks like, and I know what someone who is not. An immigrant.
But you think that massive amounts of people should be able to come into the country, so I don't think you actually have a good assessment of what threats are.
I don't think you have a good assessment.
Your situation would allow for the complete disintegration of the
country. I don't think you have a good assessment of what's good for this country and what's not. You want our borders.
Well, your assessment was based on just purely subjective what you want.
You want our borders to be closed. You don't want any
that would
immigrants.
Be good for the country.
Okay,
right?
but
so countries that have
voting for Donald Trump, but voting for Trump's good for the country. That's good for the country.
Given what he
starting ill-advised
given
wars
what he campaigned on, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, but he's not doing that. Who cares what this guy
that's
says? That's
irrelevant to what you calling me out for debate for voting for what he campaigned.
You
on.
want good people in
You're
this
trying
country.
to associate me with a bad guy again, which is
well, yeah, because you support him and you voted for him. You have no problem supporting
I
a felon
with his policies already.
What about his behavior? You want good people in this country. You don't want migrants coming in.
Politicians have crazy behavior all the way back.
Name me another politician that's ever been the president that's a 34-count felon that's a liable sexual abuser. Please give me one example, Jay.
Well, I don't know the number of felonies.
Because you couldn't find that. Because you couldn't find that. Name me
Bill Clinton.
I don't defend Bill Clinton. You can try the what about?
I mean, I'm not doing what about. You asked me. How would that be a what about to answer your question?
Was Bill Clinton a 34-count felon?
I didn't say he was. I said there is probably nobody with 34 counts or whatever.
Yeah, you voted for that guy.
Well, you asked me an absurd question to give a specific person who had 34 felons, which obviously there's not a person that would admit that. So.
With respect, I think it's absurd.
Okay.
When you say you want our borders closed and you don't want any migrants coming here. Why? Because
when I asked you for the other countries,
we were founded. I'm telling you, we were founded by immigrants.
But not with open borders.
Loved about this.
So you're going to go back to the founding. Does the founding allow for open borders?
No, I'm giving you my full explanation.
Okay.
We were my personal opinion is that
so it's relative.
It's the land of opportunity, and I believe that if you're vetted and you're not a criminal, we should give everybody the opportunity to succeed in this country. You go through the process of becoming a legal citizen. There are a ton of immigrants that have come to this country that have done so many great things for this nation.
But that has nothing to do with what I was arguing.
Well, I mean, you just want the borders to be completely closed, which I think is absurd. Okay. I'm sorry.
But the countries that do that seem to do well.
I just disagree with you. I just think that, and again, you might not like the comparison I'm making here, but I think it's important. You seem to have a concern and you think it's bad for the country to have immigrants coming here.
No, infinity immigrants.
Yeah. Well, again, I think maybe there needs to be something put in place, but you've made the case that you don't want immigrants here at all. You want to close the borders completely, right?
It's not needed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that you might think is not needed, but how does that affect you negatively? If immigrants are coming,
I'm not arguing for what affects me personally. I'm just arguing.
How is it bad for America?
For the country in general, and countries that have homogenous populations that keep to their traditions and their heritage seem to flourish and function better than those that are demographically changed. Hence why I was referring back to the older strategies of the War College and others that have written about how to do demographic replacement, which is a form of warfare.
You think immigrants, all undocumented immigrants that are in this country now, should all be deported?
Yes.
So people that have lived in this country for decades that have children here, how about anchor babies? Do you think they should be deported as well?
I would want the law to be changed on that. Yes.
So you think that if you're a 3 or a 4-year-old child that was born in this country, they should be deported?
Unfortunately, yeah.
You do. Okay. Well, I think that's extremely harsh, and I disagree with you. By the way, if you're seeking asylum from a country, from Mexico, for example, and you're going about it the right way and you filled out the right paperwork, it is illegal for the Trump administration to deport you. Do you understand that they're doing that right now? It is against the law, and they're going against what our Constitution says. It's happening right now as we speak. You have ICE agents outside of courtrooms when they have filled out the proper paperwork.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're focusing on minutia of bad situations that happen to individuals in masses of tens of millions of people, when the overall net negative for the country is more important than the minutia. And one person is a news story, but the statistics of millions of people get forgotten. So it's more important for the long-term benefit of the country in general than to highlight, as the left often does. I'm not saying you're a leftist, but they highlight specific cases to do emotional appeals. And so, like you've done in this debate, it's a lot of emotional appeals, which is also a fallacy.
I don't think it's emotional to say that the president is ripping up parts of our Constitution and breaking the law.
Those are
breaking the law is an emotion.
Those are emotional appeals.
Does it say that we all have, what does it say in our Constitution?